Beyond the Script, where you find great movies and great conversation. This is the place where we talk about how you can find God anywhere. So let's get started.
God commanded us to make a promise.
Right.
Not that we were going to kill him or anything, but in essence, that's what we did. When we think about God's sacrificing himself to go to Calvary, he had every opportunity to save himself.
Yes, and say no.
But he committed to die so that we had a chance at salvation. And in the movie, this is in essence what this man did.
Right.
He sacrificed himself so that the truth could be told.
Right.
Because there was so much corruption. And so here we are in 2020. And there's so many things that are going on, whether or not it's with the politics, whether or not it's with racial divides, whether or not it's even within our families. You know, here we are in our homes with people all day long.
Right.
And at some point, we have to also come to a realization that we have to see ourselves.
Right.
And Spooner found himself there. He had been isolated so much. It was kind of funny because Grandma keeps on referencing this wife that we never see. We don't see her. All we do is we hear about the fact that there's this ex-wife. But here we are. It's like we see Spooner isolated in his depression, in his want, in his loneliness. And so many people right now are finding themselves there.
Yes.
We're in this place of isolation where we're having to come to
ourselves.
Yeah. And it's hard. And you see this thing in Spooner where he doesn't want to confront where he is. One other thing that came out had to do with the female doctor. At one point, Spooner comes to her home and she's doing things that you normally do. And he knocks on the door. He's like, "Who's here?" And she says, "Oh, me and the robot are watching TV." A very humanistic emotion or activity. And even when Spooner asks her, "Well, what do you do?" And she gives this big old huge long scenario or dialogue of what it is she does, when in essence she says, "Oh, I teach robots to be human."
Right.
And so even in our churches, our ministers and our ministries are equipped to teach people how to be Christians.
Right.
Instead of realizing that it's Christ that gives us those Christian attributes.
Right.
And it's nothing that is taught, but rather it's something that is experienced.
Right.
You know, I learn by experience. I learn by observing. You know, you can tell me all day long what the Bible says, but if you yourself do not manifest those fruits of the Spirit,
Right.
or those attributes of what a Christian is, I don't learn them. And in this, you see that these robots, they follow the script.
Exactly.
But they don't necessarily have it within them. And so in our Christian walk, we have to remember that it's not necessarily what we teach, but how we live our lives.
Right. Right.
Also, people can't tell you really how to think. So when it comes to you thinking about your goals and the things that you want in life and setting standards and such, you know, we got to remember to go to God first. We can get all these tidbits from in the world, you know, from other people and all that, but we can't fall into that trap of only flowing with what man say.
Right.
Because we have to listen to God.
Right.
We have to take time to pray.
Right.
When we pray, we got to take time to listen so that we can get the guidance that we need instead of just going by what the world is saying to do and how the world says things, you know, how we should react to certain situations like relationships and things like that. But altogether, you know, I just think we should just focus on who we are, talk to God, and wait for Him to give us the answers we need.
Right.
You know,
right.
so
because in the end, like, they did all of that, and then it just ended up a full circle. The guy that they're listening to, their little friend is listening to, ended up going back to his wife anyway. And it's just like, we done did all this, it went on around circle, at the end of the day, they all had their own personal, feelings about each and one, every, they really didn't have to listen to anybody. Their relationships were working for them. And then it got messed up when they were,
And they all realized that at the end, like, it doesn't matter what they're saying, like, certain standards they have to be.
Right.
What are your standards?
Right.
What do you want in life?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, for instance, the character that Taraji Henson plays, you know, it's not about the man making the money. How do people make you feel? You know what I mean?
Right.
So you being a powerful woman, then, and in the book, Steve Harvey says that you got to let a man profess his love, and and even if you make all of the money, you still got to let him feel like he in charge.
Right.
You know what I mean? And feelings get tied into that, and then your standards are sitting there, and you feel a certain way.
Right.
Like you feel like you gotta hold on to that standard so much, and when that's not what's making you happy. That's not what's making you happy. Yeah. And even in some of the situations, even though the women were reading the book and trying to get something from the men, it was also opposite too. The men were learning things because of this.
Yes.
For instance, the character that what's her name, Regina Hall, she plays.
Yes.
She has the
son,
the guy that's the mama's boy.
Mama's boy. Yes.
That's what he is.
Yes,
so the mama's boy, and her doing, trying to figure out her. She really didn't know all this, but then when she figured it out, it wasn't more of her trying to do things to make him change. Because once they realized it, he actually learned that he needed to be
right. He didn't realize that it was a thing.
He didn't realize that it was a thing.
Yeah.
So so little tidbits do help here and there, but you can't make your standards change somebody else.
Right.
You gotta allow them to be who they are.
Exactly.
And then when they be who they are and you express yourself in those situations, they can see those things and they can make the choice of who they want, what they want to do.
That's really cool. I'm so glad that you pulled that out because that's true. Regina Hall's character really was the one that she pretty much accepted him the way he was. It was more of along the lines, can I deal with this? Am I willing to deal with this? And then honestly, she was like willing to deal with it even after she, figured it out, but it was when he started to lie.
Right.
Like she was like, I'm accepting you the way you are, but now you're lying about it. So now that's what became the issue.
Exactly. He's only lying because he was listening
he
to his
felt like
friends.
he felt like he had to be something more because of what they were telling him. And that's so true.
All of them, even though with the whole men versus women thing, act like they think like a man in their little battle.
Right.
At the end of the day, they were all going through something in their personal group, as well as what they were going through with the ladies about listening to others.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to separate yourself from those people. Take your time, like I said earlier, and pray and listen to God.
Right.
Because He's going to give you the true direction you need. And sometimes what you think you need isn't what you need.
Right.
You may need these other type of people to open your eyes to things and be more accepting to different types of people in life and situations, to where you can be more joyful and positive in different areas and around different people. Just because you're not normally in that's not your comfort zone doesn't mean you gotta be uncomfortable with how this person is. You can still love a person. You can still friend a person. You can communicate with people outside of who you expect them to be. Just be you.
Just be yourself.
If the communication and the connection is there, then it's there.
Yeah. We do realize like if it went our way that there probably wouldn't be a whole script, but but that's so true. And I also wanted to point out too, is Gabrielle Union's character was completely fine with her relationship. And then this thing kind of sparked something that like, oh, I'm fine with my relationship, but I'm uncomfortable with certain things. And it probably he wouldn't have been fighting so hard if she had got this tidbit and started following the rules one by one. And they would have never started lying, and they would have never, because the one thing that their relationship had was security. They were fine with each other.
Right.
After 9 years of a relationship, if you haven't seen the movie, please watch the movie. But after 9 years of a relationship, they were comfortable with each other. They love each other. It is what it is. But now we've grown. I'm uncomfortable, and instead of talking to their partner, talking to him about the honesty. Like, I know this was fun in college, but now we've grown and it's not as fun for me anymore. And just telling the truth, we're trying to do all of these things that,
push people into what you want.
Yeah, and as opposed to you just, kind of dealing with your inner, whatever God is telling you for you right now. You love you love this person. This is what I want for right now.
That's God. Like, he's showing you, like, he opened the door. He's showing you how to, well, he's not showing you. He's showing you, like, this is what this happened, and this is what this, or towards the end where it was like, he was opening her eyes to how her husband was doing all what he was doing, and she was like, oh, I didn't know that was going on.
Right. And that's so funny. That's true, because each section of the movie brought forth, you thought that you got it. Like, when she, woke up and she figured out, like, this entity that's following her is a dead girl, and we figure out it's like a dead girl, that a real person that's in the circle of the hospital, and the people are from there. And so you think you get it, like, but it's still movie to go. Like, it seemed like every layer dropped another bomb. It was like God was literally bringing her through a situation. And like, I feel like when we go through hard, it's a scary movie, but to me it's just a hard experience. You know what I'm saying? Things like this can happen. People, can do something and stray, and experiences. And regardless, I really love that regardless if you believe or not, she still had this step-to-step clue that she had to go through to get to the end. Okay, so the end, which is extremely crazy. You have to watch it to see it. The end. What did you get from the end?
The ending,
Were you surprised? Like, were you like, whoa?
Yeah, I was, because it wasn't expected. It was.
So when I mean the end, I mean like we finally got to a place, like they literally did not tell you that, first of all, it was what the story was. I don't want to give you a spoil, so I'm not going to say what it is because it kind of throws away the movie, but in a sense, you really don't know everything until right up to the end. So right up to the end, and that last scene where they're in the police station and like the spirit is kind of revealed to the villain, and what did you get out of that?
I got.
So, okay, her husband is doctored, and then he had a friend, and at the end we find out that the friend.
Okay. So that part, it was. Wait, what was the question?
What did your mind think about when you saw that?
When I saw that, that's when I automatically knew, oh, well, that's like the bad person. That's the demon. He was the one that was kind of like the, I guess if the enemy has a sidekick, say, that was like his little sidekick person that was doing the little jobs and trying to trap them to going to the demon and everything. So that's what I got.
I love it. Okay, we have went beyond the script. Is there anything else you want to tell the folks? No. So sweet. So basically, that was really good. I really loved the way we went through that. But thank you guys so much for being here. I'm gonna come back to you guys later. But yes, make sure that you watch this movie. It's our very first scary movie here, Beyond the Script, and I think we did really good breaking it down. Thank you so much for being here, Miss Natalie. All right, guys.
I really don't even understand what this is, but I see stuff. Right. And I can't control it. That's like your gift. When God gives you insight, When God gives you the spirit of discernment, or when God calls you to be the one that can heal, but you don't know that that's what it is. This is just a thing. So now we watching it and we like, what's going on?
Right.
And he said, come here. And he looking like, what?
Exactly.
Because I've been keeping a secret. But see, God knows everything.
Everything.
And he always sends someone that could be a blessing to you.
Right.
As long as you're open. So he's standing there like, I don't, what you want?
Right.
What you want, John? Coffee.
Because look, just like you said, judgment. Think about it. Up until this point, they still think he probably killed two girls. So, what you want me to come close to you for?
Right? He's like, now I don't know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm the one in this organization that's a little different.
Right.
Because I have a spiritual being inside of me as well too.
Yes.
But I can't let that work because I have a job. I have an assignment. Right? So then when he said, come here. Now nobody else know he's dealing with this.
Right.
Okay, wait, let's back up a little bit. I was confused too. I'm like, why this man going outside to urinate outside? But the pain, right?
Right.
No one saw that. John didn't see that, but he said, come here. Come here.
Because he can see it in the spirit.
Come here. And remember, he started saying, I see. No, he didn't say, what was the word he was using? He was like, I can't control it. I tried to stop it. And then it makes you think, now you go back to the beginning. Wait,
right.
Did you try to stop him killing the girl?
yourself? Yeah.
Right, okay.
Killing the girl.
So then you get to him and it's like, what? And then he said, come here. Now everybody, he looking like, you put it over there, right? And so he like, what? And then he grabbed him.
Right.
In his Jada Yamini. You know what I'm saying? He grabbed him. In his what? Jada Yamini. We can't say that. But you know, he grabbed him in his area. And then you just see from Tom Hanks' character, his eyes like, Lord God.
Oh my God.
What is going
Something
on?
is actually
Something
happening.
the healing process begins. But it's like, how can I receive this from this man that supposedly killed these kids? But then
Right.
God, I know he's helping me.
Right. Right.
How am I supposed to feel about this? Now I'm just stuck like,
Stuck.
I ain't told nobody.
Right.
And then he like,
And you know he all right because he went home.
come on.
Figured it out.
And let it ride, let it ride, let it ride. She was like, ooh.
He's like, I'm all right.
Like, kept somebody in the kitchen, like, baby. Okay. So then.
But the truth, that's it. So it's just like, it's not just a fluke. I feel better.
Right.
It's like, I know I am actually healed. This was a miracle.
Completely.
You
Now
believe?
it's not telling us how long he ain't been able to work it.
Right. But this is the thing. The entire movie, we know it ain't been
It
working out.
ain't been working out.
So at the end, at this point, it's more like, even if you don't even believe in God.
Come on. How can a convict
I don't even
lay
believe
hands on you
me and I'm
I'm
healed.
healed?
Doctors couldn't fix it.
At all. He called that doctor and the doctor like, said what? I'm not coming to you no more, sir. And just like, okay, so now he and his wife, now this is what I love about it. It doesn't go into detail that he's explained exactly what happened to his wife, but his wife wake up like, so what you gonna do?
Right.
Because now it's like, we gotta get back to the original thing. How did you even come in contact with him? He's supposed to be a criminal
Right.
by man.
Right.
But by God's standards, he has a healing.
angel.
He's
Yeah.
an angel. Right. God sent. Okay, now let's move on to, who was it, the mayor or whatever, with the sick wife.
Right.
Let me tell you
Ooh, girl,
something.
me.
Let me tell you
get
something.
into that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now it's like, okay, this is how it is.
Okay, hold on. So this part of the movie, we don't want to tell you what's going on, but in this part of the movie, the main character, which is John Coffey, is taken to heal a person outside of the jail. Mind you, he a criminal. They done took him outside of the jail to go heal somebody, and we're right here.
Yes. So, of course, the man is like, who that is?
Right.
Outside. Because
Right.
it's the middle of the night. He come out like,
Right.
Now he see big old John Coffey, and he too knows what John Coffey's supposed to do.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm at my wit's end. Because you got to remember, he came and he cried, and now he's telling people how severe his wife is.
Yeah.
John
She about
Coffey
to
wasn't
die.
there.
Yeah.
John Coffey wasn't there. That man was ready to take John Coffey out.
Right,
John
right,
Coffey
with the gun.
is on an
Yes.
assignment.
Yes.
His assignment from God.
Yes,
I'm
and
finna
walk
walk in
around.
your house. I'm finna walk past you.
Like you ain't
Now then
right.
you gotta think about it again. Right? Think about it again. This is the big man
It's huge.
walking past the man of the house.
Right.
Go straight upstairs to the man's wife.
Yes.
And what she say? How she look at him?
Cussing.
Stunned at first.
Stunned at first.
But then,
Cussing and fussing.
guess what? All of that feeble-minded stuff. What did she end up saying? I saw you.
I saw you.
I knew it was gonna be you.
Ain't that something?
How you going through these afflictions? But this man is allegedly a child killer at that.
And you saw me.
I saw you. I knew it was gonna be you. Now the same husband that's holding judgment again, softening up. He looking.
Right.
Everyone's silent.
Because I know my wife. I know what she's been doing.
Because I know how she been talking to me.
She's been outside of her mind. And now
Rest to go.
She up talking.
Done receive what. Then this is the best part. Then now everyone's concerned because only Tom has, well, the character, Tom Hanks' here. He's only seen what he goes through. Because we skipped. Remember the part about Ben? That's the part we gotta say. Because when he breathed life into little Ben, little mouse, then he had to let that out.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Then we can't skip that he took it out of him. He took it out of the mouse. Stored it, right? He went through his thing. But then when he went to the wife and took it out of her, they was concerned. They was like, he ain't did it yet.
Right.
So we can't tell what he didn't do, but he ain't did it yet. He ain't did it yet. So now they're concerned.
Right.
Because
Okay.
like, he gonna
So
be
we
sick.
can say this without giving it away that John would, every time he would heal somebody, there was an intake and an outtake.
Yes.
And this last huge healing,
Yes.
he never did the outtake process.
No.
And so there was a
No,
concern
ma'am, no, sir.
and
Yes.
a worry.
A severe one.
Yes, especially for the officers, because
That's
remember
right.
the officers are smuggling him out of
That's
jail
right.
to go help
And created a
somebody.
whole plan that if somebody of higher authority come, we didn't listen.
Right, this is what happened. They had a story. It was insane.
They even got rid of the problem child temporarily. And he was begging and pleading, I ain't gonna do it again.
Right.
The lies he
And
told.
right. So they did a whole big old plan and everything, and thinking that the process was going to be the same as he had done in the past, and thus far he had not let it go.
And each
So
time
this
he
is
gets
what we are.
wore out. He
Yes.
gets tired. He's like, I'm tired, boss.
Yes.
You gotta remember the key things that he said.
Even though this wasn't a Christian.
Every game, but for Kathy it wasn't the same. And so she made a statement and said, you know that she felt some type of way about that. She's like, yeah, like Mom went to all your games, but she didn't really come to mine, and that hit her in some type of way, right? So I think it's very important, when you talk about that scene, and it was a lot of things that were revealed in that scene. Even you let Dad walk all over you, like she let it out.
She let
You
it
know what
all
I'm saying?
out.
She let it
got
out.
smacked, but she let it out.
But she let it out.
And that, I forgot about that part too. That
Yes,
she didn't really
so,
respect her as a woman.
I didn't respect you as a woman because you let Dad walk over you. You spend all these hours cooking this big old meal, and Dad walk in with a couple of pizzas, and you don't even say nothing.
You don't even say nothing.
Right.
And that's, to her,
So
it's just
that I think that was just her boiling point.
right. And she was letting
yeah.
it out. And what's it was also special too to finally hear the mom side.
Right.
And to finally
Yeah.
see that
Yeah.
this is what she just loves to do it. It's not that I'm, being a sucker or a doormat. I just love to do it,
Right.
But what I want to know, what scene were you talking about?
So the scene of all scenes to me was the bleacher scene at night.
Right.
The scene where she had curfew. She had to choose. But
That was it.
Yes.
That was like the
and that was a reason why he left. And he
Yeah.
broke up with her.
Because
Because it was like, I just need you to be like, I just found out my dad is cheating on my mom, and you're supposed to be right. You're supposed to be here for me. You're supposed to. So it kind of lets me know that he actually always seen a little something more with her than she did with him.
Yes.
At some point.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, so
I felt like he was more mature when it
Right.
came to that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, which is shocking because men don't usually
Right,
mature.
exactly.
But yeah, that scene where she's like, I gotta be in for curfew, otherwise I'm not gonna start.
I'm not.
Right?
Yeah.
Now she could have chose to stay with him.
Right.
Or and here's the conflicting part, because she did invite him to go back to her dorm.
Yes.
But he was like, I don't feel like being
Right.
bothered with nobody.
Right,
So
right.
she still offered. It wasn't in the way he
And I think
yeah.
to him, it was more. It should be a given.
Right.
It shouldn't be,
right.
you know, that shouldn't even be a
That
thought
shook
right
him.
now.
That shook him.
It shook him.
That shook him.
It shouldn't even be a thought right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
How you have to even think about that.
Right.
It's
Why are
totally
you
this.
talking about a game right now?
Right,
You know,
right.
and it shouldn't even be. Why are you even looking at your clock? And I
Exactly.
think the whole experience in itself
Right.
was just, it was heart-wrenching for him.
Yeah, that was tough for him.
Right. And the sad part is I'm sad that Monica had to go through it
Right.
because she really was in an innocent place.
She was. I mean,
She
didn't mean
know
no
how
harm.
didn't mean no harm because she loved that boy's stinking gut. So she did not mean, if she would have known that he would have been walking out of her life from this decision,
Right.
she would have definitely never, she would have not left.
Done it, yeah.
But it's so funny how even in your innocence, you
Right.
can't escape God.
Mm. You can't.
You cannot.
And let me throw this in there. Timing is critical. So the timing at that particular time, it just wasn't right. You know, like it had to happen in God's timing. And sometimes it's frustrating because, but you have to go through, you know, the necessary things. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if you get together too soon, it ain't gonna work out. If you get together too late, you missed out. It has to be right on time when it comes to
And
God.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Or her blind love. She
Right.
like what? What if she got pregnant and
blew it
blew
all,
all
right.
schooling and
then they
all
wouldn't
the
have been together
right,
because
all the-
now she
yeah.
gonna resent him for
because
getting
she
her
took
pregnant.
right,
You know,
took away her
yeah.
basketball career. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
See, powerful Isha. Yes.
What they do as long as they
Right.
capture your heart. And
Right.
I think Monica and Quincy were meant to be together. Period.
Right.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
For real. I'm so excited.
Yes.
Yes.
Also, what was I gonna say? I think that that scene kind of revealed that too when they were in college and they were together and in love and happy, and they're just playing around and they fell on the lawn and he
when
said
they both went
this-
to USC.
Yes, and he was saying that this is how I know that you're real or something like that. He was saying that.
Yeah.
And he truly understood that she was real. She
Absolutely.
loved him purely. And so, yeah, we kind of saw that, like what you were saying, like at the end, like, yeah, you're right. Ain't nobody gonna love me like this girl right here. Like, she loved me through all my crap, you
All
know?
the craziness.
Yes.
Yeah. She done seen all the women coming and
Right.
going and,
Right.
you know, yeah.
And they've been through just like everything together.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
No
I'm so
problem.
excited.
This is my movie. I can talk about it all day.
Right,
All day.
right. Are there any other revelations that you want to tell people about?
No.
You got it all.
How they were chasing him down when the man started seeing some of his daughter's artifacts that made him know, okay, my kids is over here somewhere. But I always felt typical. It's gonna be one of them amongst you.
Yep.
The betrayal.
Right.
One of them amongst you. Now he wasn't out there helping search, but
Right.
he was tending to the house still.
Right. And isn't it ironic? Listen, isn't it ironic that it's so hard to believe that it's not the person next to you? Isn't that ironic? It was like you ain't never seen this big, huge man before in your life.
Never.
Ain't never been around.
At all.
Your kids come up missing, and you got a new person in the camp.
Come on.
But that's hard for you to believe. Judgment. Girl.
Ain't that what I started off with? This is about judgment.
Judgment. In Jesus'
Judgment.
name. Man, I had to turn the camera back on. I don't know if this is gonna be the outtakes or what.
Right.
But this conversation is no joke.
And it's crazy because this movie was created years ago.
Years.
But
So irrelevant.
nothing has changed.
right now.
Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed.
The fact that I can look at you and I have judgment. You expect something. And even if I'm caught red-handed,
That part.
there is no, well, you're not even surprised at all. You're not surprised.
No. It's so much
That's
easier.
crazy.
But you have to think about it, the mindset, and this is going a little bit away from the movie, but it's still tied into the movie. When certain things happen in domestic situations, a wife is no longer living, or a husband, they always assume it's the mate first. Because that's just your go-to thing. And with these crimes that are being committed by others, oh, they did it. Oh, I know they did it. And you know what they do? They want to bring out that other person's whole track record first to make it fit the scenario that they wanted to fit.
Right.
But they didn't have a scenario.
I just wanted to get that. I want to be able to cut it right there and bring it back in. Oh, it's fine, honey. We just gonna stop talking. No worries.
But they didn't have a scenario for John Coffey.
Right.
If they did, they never told us. It's like he just ascended somewhere and landed into this situation.
Right. Into the situation.
He was
Like
he
Enoch.
yeah.
Just
Right.
Read your Bible.
That part. You see what I'm saying? So that's all we wanted to say about that. You got to understand, right? There's choices.
All right, we are gonna finally try our best to end this show because I am 6 minutes away from my next shoot. Okay. The person that already showed up, Jesus.
Right.
I gotta pretend to you guys like I'm not shooting 2 shows in one day.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, we want to make sure that you. Well, you showed it go beyond the script.
Well, you know what? That one was something, girl. God was in
That's
it.
a perfect
He was in-
movie for
Yes,
us.
it
That
was.
for real, for real.
Even in the time zone right now, judgment.
Mm.
A lot of people with melanin are being judged
That's true. Just from the way you look.
from the way you look.
And you don't have to be holding bloody children.
At all.
You could be sitting in your car.
Sitting in your car. You can have a container of Skittles and
Yeah.
juice and, you know. But that's, you know.
Neither
But
here nor
God,
there.
but all this has a purpose. God has a purpose in everything that He was
Everything
doing.
that
Everything
he's
that
doing.
He's doing.
Everything
He's
he's
exposing so much.
Yeah.
But this
Yeah.
is everyone's time in your life. Find out.
Go
What's
beyond the
going on
script.
beyond the script
Yeah.
of your life. Seriously.
Seriously.
Because every day we're a novel within ourselves.
Right.
So now we need to ask our question. Would our loved ones give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
Right. Lord, I hope y'all give me a thumbs up, Jesus. But that's the truth.
Seriously.
And honestly, this is what the show is based around. My hope is that everything you see, we talked a little bit before the camera came on, everything you see, this is not just about movies. It's about
right.
bumper stickers. It's about looking in the sky.
Yes.
It's about seeing your neighbors
Yes.
and knowing that you just prayed a prayer in your head and nobody else knows it but
That's
you
right.
and Christ.
That's right.
And you going beyond the script and
That's right.
seeing what God is saying, getting a revelation.
That's right.
Because it's all we have right now.
Amen.
That's it. You cannot trust outside. You can't
That's
go
right.
there. You can't, all we have right now is a revelation and our relationship with God
That's right.
to keep us going.
That's
I mean,
right.
you're here, but this
But
is
your
not
purpose.
life
That's
like
right.
it used to be.
No.
So
And
at
we'll
the
probably
end of the
never
day,
go back to
it
how
probably
it
won't.
And until we all get on one accord and have love and tender kindness and stop prejudging people,
Sure.
because God is of love and we're supposed to be Christ-like.
Right.
So
right.
even though someone outs you or does something to you, you gotta love them and leave them to God.
Right. I love Pastor Chocolate. As you can see, I'm probably not gonna cut this. This will probably be most of my show today. But yeah, this is our conversation. I've known this lady for 6-7 years, something like that. And yeah, like we can sit and talk about God all day long. All day long. Super simple. And this is what we're trying to get to. We're trying to get to a place where it's easy for you to see God, get a revelation
right.
from Him, from any
That's
and
right.
everything
That's
that
right.
you go through in a day.
That's right.
And so, thank you so much
No,
for
thank
being
you for
here.
allowing me
My
this
beautiful
opportunity. I'm excited.
I love you so much.
Love you too.
All right, so thank you so much, and we're going on to the most powerful scene of the movie. As soon as I figure it out.
Bye-bye.
Anyway, we want to make sure that you watch Beyond the Script. Make sure that you watch The Green Mile. If there's anything that you want a revelation that you feel like we missed or that you got that's a little different than ours, and even if you just want to come out and say whatever you want to say, find me on Facebook, find me on Twitter.
You know, I've had several friends like laughing, you know, at, you know, the fact that he has COVID. And I'm not going to do that because I don't want to see the demise of anyone. Wasn't raised that way by mother, wasn't raised that way in church, and that's not, you know, that's not godly.
Right.
And I'm not, you know, shooting those people down, but my point is that, you know, regardless of how they feel, how I feel, you know, we have that dynamic. So we have cops, you know, copters. Label it like this, you know, using my hermeneutic skills. You have copters, you got cops, you got COVID,
Right.
and now you got this clown. You know, respectively speaking, because again, I could call him a lot worse. People in the White House that has emboldened people. And I'm still being spiritual.
Okay.
Have emboldened people to that have already had a white supremacist, anti-black, racist construct to be unleashed to do what they're doing.
Whatever.
And that has, you know, it spills over into our church because you have certain evangelicals that will not denounce, even though there's written in the Bible, written in Scripture, and you can see that this man is wrong a mile long. Interestingly, I watched, and here's the thing about, now that we're on this subject, and again, I'm still staying spiritual. I read several books by Donald Trump throughout the years. I worked 17 years in corporate finance, oddly enough, 17, Bishop's favorite number. 17 years I served as a pastor, you know, no coincidence. But in my 17 years in corporate finance, I read several of his books, Donald Trump's books. I think he was, you know, in my estimation, based upon reading these books, a genius as far as that's concerned. As far as his work.
Finances.
Yeah, in finances. But again, looking at the fact that I looked at an interview about 3 years ago where he was asked, has he ever asked for forgiveness? And it was an interview, much like we're doing now, it's just two people, him and the interviewer. And it was a spiritual platform. And the interviewer asked him again, had he ever asked God for forgiveness? And Donald Trump said, this was pre-presidency, pre even him running for president. He said, I never felt, I've done some things that were bad, some things that were wrong, but I've never asked for forgiveness, never felt I've had to.
That says a lot.
That says a lot.
And that explains a lot.
That says a lot. Yes, it does.
It explains a lot.
And then the fact that, which the Bible teaches us to love everyone. So I watched the debate Tuesday night, saw a lot of the comments that people were making. And interestingly, I'm focused on the fact, two things. One, or I just talked about one, the fact that he did not denounce white supremacy, which is totally unscriptural, goes against Scripture, goes against even the nature of God. If you never read a Scripture in your life, you know, just goes against the nature of God, because God is love. So how can you not love everyone?
And I said with compassion because I love you and I know you love me, so I know you're not racist. But the fact is that it's sad that I can't celebrate my own people without being questioned.
Right.
I can't celebrate my peers without being questioned. If you said something about, Mexican women are heroes, I'd be like, you go, girl.
Right.
You know, because at the end of the day, I'm not a Hispanic hero because I don't know anything about that.
Right.
So I'm just allowing you to celebrate yourself without being offended.
Yeah.
And without question. you know, and I think that, you know, it doesn't have to be such a big deal if we don't make it a big deal.
Right.
If I say that Black Lives Matter, that shouldn't offend you.
Exactly.
Because they matter to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If we don't make it a big deal, it doesn't have to be a big deal. You know what I mean? But now I feel like this is where we're at.
Yeah.
We're in a place where we're learning who the people are around us. We're learning their true characters.
Right.
We're learning who they really are, you know? And we're going to be better for it. I'm that person that I feel like we're going to be better for it, because I know if I know my neighbor is, you know, a Trump supporter and I'm not going to, you know, walk over to your lawn with my Black Lives Matter t-shirt on. I'm going to respect your space. That's who you are, and that's okay with me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like we have to be mature enough to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So.
That's a good point. And again, it goes back to, you know, my mind keeps going back to the scene when they go to the cave, the little hiding place that George is in, and he now has changed. You know, this dramatic change.
Right.
Still the same entity, as it were, but it's changed. And as I look, you know, back on the last 8-9 months of 2020, as I look back at the fact that, you know, a month ago, 2 months ago, I guess it was, a month and a half ago, I celebrated my 55th birthday, and just looking back over the years, you know, still the same world,
Right.
still the same body of Christ, still the same church, you know, still the same, you know, people relative to races. But now, you know, there's been this drastic change. We've always known for the most part that there's a God, you know. We've always known, you know, that there's a church where we go to, wherever that, you know, wherever we choose to go to, church, the institution. We've always known, you know, that there's politics, that there's, you know, president, vice president, for the most part.
Right.
And we've always known that people are different. But 2020 was that, you know, the person that we're with saying, is it just me, or is this different? You know, this is different. So
we ever been here before?
right, yeah,
No.
yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate, again, talking about our bishop, the fact that even last year when he gave us little hints about the theme this year, and I don't take these themes like just
lightly,
something to
yes,
put up in the sanctuary or in the vestibule when walking in, or cute little keychain to have, you know, your vision, and you know, and if that's your theme, I'm not talking about your theme, but I mean, I'm just in the constructs of pastors having themes. You know, I really know our bishop hears from God. Not saying other bishops don't, but you know, I'm not in any other church, because this uncommon favor, and although we have all these things happening, I know, and I can look at you, you know, you graduated film school, you have your own show now that I'm on. You know, I just look at my life, you know, and how God has not just kept us, because it's a lot, it's something to say about being kept, and then there's something to say about, okay, he's keeping me, but in keeping me, he's progressed me, he's blessed me. You know,
I am a Christian, and we do that a lot of times in church. We get so caught up in our own world, and just, you know, the day-to-day things that we can walk right past somebody and don't discern that they're going through. Or God will put somebody on our mind and we just brush it off like, oh.
Right.
But no, he put them on your mind for you to reach out to them, say, I'm just checking in on, and to pray for them. So I do believe that if we take the time and if we really tap in, we can discern what's going on with others. We might not know all of the facts, but we know that something is not right.
Right.
So let me, like you said, pray for them. Let me reach out to them.
Right.
So.
Right. That is true. And I do feel too that as Christians we should be a little bit more sensitive. I feel
And
with people's not just their feelings, because I know God doesn't truly deal in feelings, but just be more sensitive in where people are. You know what I mean? I mean, they may be going through, God may have had you say something, but don't be like the pagans. I gotta pray with people watching. If you discern that it's not a time to be making this to be seen, pray in silence. Yes, I had to pray with my friend today because she was going through. Yeah. But more along the lines is, I feel you in my spirit. Let me send you a text, let you know God is still in control. God is with you.
Yeah.
And move on.
Yeah.
Don't, sometimes you're helping them wallow, when you're, playing the pity party with them, So, yeah.
And sometimes people, even though you sense them and you might call and check on them, some people are still not going to let you know what's going on.
Right.
But you still have to know, I know something is happening, and it's okay if they don't want to divulge, all the information, but it's still my job to pray for them.
Right.
And then sometimes they will divulge, and your job is just to listen, not to give any scriptures, not to give any advice.
Right.
Just to listen.
Listen.
Because sometimes once people vent, they're actually better.
Right.
But we get so spiritual and so churchy, like, oh, the Bible said, and that's great. I'm not saying we live by the word, but sometimes they don't want to hear that at that moment.
Right.
They just want somebody to listen.
Right.
So we got to be sensitive and to know what to say, when to say it, how to say it, all of that stuff.
Right. That's true. That is completely true.
And these people in the movie didn't know what to say. Let's go back. See, you thought we lost where we were, but we didn't. These people in the movie didn't know what to say.
Right. Can you imagine going through your loved ones, it's pretty much going crazy right before your eyes because you don't believe that.
Right.
Like, I don't see what you're saying, and I don't
Even
know.
the email though.
Right.
Like, if me and you have a relationship and I get an email from you saying all of that stuff, in my mind, I'm definitely gonna be looking at the email like, did she really just say all of this? Right. But I'm like, but that's not like her.
Right.
Like, you have to know the person that you're close to, so she didn't even give her a chance to really explain.
Right. Exactly.
Like, I didn't send the email. This fool who y'all think is dead sent this email. Okay? And the enemy does that too. He will plant the seeds in your spirit, in your ear, in your spirit, about somebody you're close to.
Right.
From other people. And if you're not careful, you'll start believing that.
And the funny thing is we always forget that the enemy is smart. He knows smart. He's very, very, so he's pulling out little things about your relationship that has already been existing, and then like throws that into your face and then amplifies it and then puts a little bit more on it. And then you're like, you did act like that with me, or you do that to me, you know what I mean? And then you're like, oh, she really do feel like that, and forgetting about, your whole, 10-year relationship. But at the end of the day, I feel like we have to still be sensitive, because at the end, it was just like you said, it was like there was a point where they just did not give her a break. Like, she didn't get the benefit of the doubt even in the beginning when she was running away, and her sister's like, what's going on? Oh, that was driving me up.
I was screaming, would you just drive already?
She just said drive.
You want to sit, but the crazy thing is, even when he's at the door, you're still asking, what's going on? Lady, if you don't drive this car, this is not the time to have this conversation. Like, what is wrong with you?
You guys have to watch the movie. You'll understand our frustration. I was just like, are you serious right now? Like, you don't really give,
we're not giving people the benefit of the doubt at the end of the day. Like, she didn't get any from any of her family, any of the loved ones. Y'all was raised with her and know her. I understand, but still, I'll be like, it's a little crazy, but you tell me to drive, I'm driving.
Especially if you see the devil at the door. Like,
At the door. How he get
he's
all
gotta
the way
bust the window in for you to take off? Are you crazy? Like, what's going on? Boom. Like, like, oh my God. I wonder, like, get her. Just kill her. Like, so bad.
Right. Because at the end of the day, I'm like, are you serious right now? Are you really serious? Okay, so with all of that, let's come to the end, the triumph.
Yes.
I'm gonna say the triumph. What did you get out of the triumph? Woo! Well, the end, I should say the end, because it's horrible. But
she had to kill the enemy. The only way that she was gonna be able to live a fruitful life and live without fear is she would have to conquer and kill the enemy that was trying to kill her.
Right.
And again, a lot of times we don't do it because of fear, because of what people are gonna think about what we're doing. But like, you gotta sometimes just think about, this is my life. I can't. I won't be able to survive if I don't conquer. So she had to kill the enemy.
She had to kill the enemy.
And she had to be smart about it.
Right.
Because this fool, see, I think because she tried to get him to tell the truth. The truth would have set him free.
Right.
The truth would have set him free.
It really would have set him free.
But he lied.
Right.
And then when he did that whole surprise again, she's like, oh yeah.
Right. Okay.
You're not admitting it, but okay.
Thank you for the confirmation.
Thank you for the
pretty
confirmation.
Much.
My friend is outside listening, but they're gonna see this video.
Right.
But yeah, conquer your enemy.
And that's where, she pretty much had to put it to rest. Like, okay. So now
But
you're
did
dead.
you see the confidence though when she walked outside with the bag after
Right.
Did you see how her
It
whole
was demeanor
posture?
was
Everything
different.
changed.
She didn't even care. There was no. It wasn't.
Exactly.
Right. It was.
She was
calm.
confident.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. Your whole demeanor will change when you conquer your fear. Like,
Right. That is in here.
Right, because you got to think
Just so
about
you know.
you got to think about the journey that it took, even before he robbed the museum,
Right.
of who he was as a person,
Right. All
as a
the
child,
marks.
all the marks. Those are bodies he's taken,
Right.
and they're throughout his entire
Body.
He's had practice taking the lives of people.
Right.
T'Challa has not.
Right.
So
Right.
it's something totally different from a man who's willing to end your life, and he will not bat an eye.
Right.
When we watched it
No
happen,
concern.
he killed Claw
Right.
quickly,
Without an issue.
without a thought.
Right.
He killed his own girlfriend without a thought. Done.
God.
Done.
Part of the
T'Challa's
mission.
not doing that.
Look, a part of the mission.
Exactly. It's a part. Everything is a part. This has to happen.
Right.
I am dedicated to end you.
Right.
And that's how the enemy is. The enemy is out to end you by any means. There's really no,
Kill, steal, and destroy.
exactly.
Wow.
The enemy is out to kill, steal, and destroy, no matter what.
Right.
And no matter of who is in your way,
Right.
because anybody can be affected.
Right.
Because if you think about, Killmonger was only after the throne. So once T'Challa was out, everybody's sad, but you gotta understand that the rest of the world is now affected.
Right.
So now, because the enemy achieved his goal, this is what is to happen. And so now the world may be, and like for them, it's the entire world.
Right.
But certain people's worlds are a little smaller.
Right.
So you leave or you get affected, you may change the trajectory of someone else's life that you are remotely affecting.
Right.
So it's like, it's not just you in that situation.
Right.
So the enemy is really, no matter who's in the way, I'm I'm trying to get to my goal.
Right.
You may not be affected. I may
Right.
go around you.
Right.
And
I'll get back to you
look at
later if you're too strong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, you too. You know, I need to save my energy for who I really need this for. So I may go around you for now.
But I don't stop.
But I'm not going to stop. There's no stop, and you
Right.
have to know that there's, you know, that constant fight's always going to happen. But you have the necessary tools to win.
Right.
Because T'Challa beat Killmonger now, yes.
Right.
But he's got so many other enemies.
Right.
You just got one.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's always going to be someone bigger and badder than the previous enemy that you had.
Right.
Because now you're prepared for it.
Right. Right.
You know, God's not going to give you something you're not prepared for.
Right.
So he's going to give. So the little things that come in, the enemy's coming in, but God is blocking so much.
Right.
We just don't know that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Consciously, you're like, why is God doing this?
Right.
Why is he allowing this to happen?
Right.
But then it's like, you don't realize how much he's actually stopping. You know what I mean? And there's certain things that go through because we have to go through it.
Right. That's that whole Mr. Miyagi thing.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, it's true. Like, if he never had the fight with the first fight with the first guy, he never got the full concept that people was really trying to kill you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
M'Baku was not playing.
he wasn't
games.
playing. Like, for real, I'm finna take
I
over
said,
the
we will
skin.
not have it.
Right. Do it again.
He said, we will not have it. I said, we will not have it. We have watched from the mountains.
It's so true.
Mesa! Oh, Mesa! It's challenged.
I love it so much. But yeah, I just thinking about just the comments that you made, for real, that's so true. Like, if he did not have that fight, he would have never been able to stay alive as he did with Killmonger and then even fight his way back. It's like every fight prepared him for the ultimate fight.
Exactly.
So it was just like, wow.
Because he had to go, you know, again, this is without powers twice. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, with M'Baku, that's just a bigger opponent. You know what I mean? That's someone who's just built on brute strength.
Right.
That, you know, and that's a big opponent to do, especially one who's out to kill you. Just for honor, though.
Right.
You know, it's not hate involved in this.
Right.
You know, it's just strictly honor.
Right,
so
right.
We're going after this because I want to take this.
It's honor
Yeah,
and
this
law.
is what I gotta do. When it came to Killmonger, you're dealing with doubt, you're dealing with hurt, you're dealing with guilt. This is all things that he was probably not feeling when he was going against M'Baku.
Right.
These are all things that have been brought down to him from his father. So now he's dealing with a lot of inner turmoil.
Right. Insecurities.
Yes, and now he has to fight someone who's just better. This is a, you know, bigger doesn't mean better necessarily.
Right.
So you may have someone that you can clearly see, this is a big problem I have to get through.
But I can't.
But I can. And then you might have a problem that might be so minute or the same size or something that is normal, but something you can never get over.
Right. Just too smart.
Because
Just
it's
better
something
at the game.
That, and it's something that is a true stronghold. You know, it's like I can never get over certain insecurities.
Right.
But I can get over someone yelling and cussing me out.
Right.
I can get over rejection, but I can't get over looking a certain way.
Right. And then the thing that I felt like his character had care. And you know, you hear this in movies a lot where, you know, your care and your sensitivity and your compassion is what make you weak.
Right.
That's what a lot of the antagonist and the bad guys say, because in a sense, in a sense it is.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the fact that he cared for people and
I'd like to tell you a story about the love I have inside of me. It's not where it should be, but it sure ain't where it used to be. I strive to be patient, I strive to be kind of not jealous of anything, no boasting on the mind.